Hi guys, Korean movie recapped here. Warning, spoilers ahead. Today, I'm going to recap a Korean action movie released in 2015, called The Long Way Home. A South Korean soldier who is tasked to deliver a top-secret document meets a young North Korean soldier who is trying to make his way home with a tank. What will happen between the two of them? Let's find out together. The story starts with Young Wang, a North Korean teenager and member of the tank crew who is just learning how to drive the vehicle. Young Wang is inside the tank alongside the tank driver and their tank commander. As they continue to drive, the tank driver suddenly breaks the power shift of the tank. The tank commander becomes angry at the tank driver and orders him to stop the tank in the meantime. As they make their stop, the tank commander orders Young Wang to get some food. On the other side, one of the South Korean soldiers' platoon named Nam-bok is entrusted with a mission of delivering a top-secret document containing war strategies. However, as Nam-bok and his comrades start their journey to deliver the classified document, the enemy forces start attacking them. As a result, Nam-bok loses the top-secret document without his knowledge and becomes separated from his platoon. Similarly, the North Korean soldiers who made their stopover are also attacked. An American jet fighter suddenly bombs them. All of the soldiers there die because of the sudden attack, thus making Young Wang the sole survivor. Young Wang becomes scared because of what happened and tries to find his tank members. He finds his tank commander, who is on the brink of death, and tries to talk to him. However, the tank commander only tells him that he should guard their tank, and if he loses it, he will die. After the uneventful instances, Young Wang starts to run away from the scene because of the fear that a jet fighter will attack him again. As he takes off, he accidentally sees a top-secret document lying on the ground. Young Wang takes this document with him and runs away. Meanwhile, Nam-bok continues to run away from the attack and sees one of his comrades who are on the verge of dying. Nam-bok tries to save him, but his comrade tells him that he should prioritize delivering the document safely, even at the cost of his own life. This makes Nam-bok panic, so he tries to grab his backpack where he put the classified document. But to his surprise, the document is gone. The panicking Nam-bok tells his comrade that he will leave him in the meantime to find the document, but he will come back again for him. Nam-bok now tries to find the top-secret document while Young Wang is on the run with it. And as fate convenes, Nam-bok and Young Wang finally meet each other. The two soldiers try to kill each other, however, both miserably fail. So, Young Wang resorts to running away, but Nam-bok persistently chases him since he knows that the young North Korean soldier has the top-secret document. Young Wang finally reaches his tank and gets inside it. He thought he had finally lost Nam-bok since he could not see him outside. So, he tries opening the upper part of the tank. However, Nam-bok is there waiting for him. The two soldiers have a fierce push and pull with the tank's upper door, but Young Wang luckily keeps it locked. After this, Young Wang attempts to drive the tank to get away from his foe while Nam-bok runs after him. The foot race of the two soldiers brings them together in a deserted area. Young Wang sees that Nam-bok is still chasing after him, so he uses the tank's gun to fire at Nam-bok. However, Young Wang fires at the nearby South Korean barracks since the tank's muzzle is positioned upwards. Young Wang thinks that Nam-bok is already dead because of what he did. So, he tries to peek outside. However, he sees that Nam-bok is still not dead, and the man is pointing a bazooka at him. Both soldiers fire at each other simultaneously, and because of the impact, both lose their consciousness. While Young Wang is unconscious, he suddenly remembers his first love and his mother telling him to come back safely after the war. This makes Young Wang regain his consciousness again and drive the tank so that he can go back home. Meanwhile, Nam-bok is under the debris of the bombed building, alive. He finally crawls out and sees the tank leaving. Meanwhile, the South Korean camp is still under tension because the top-secret document is still not found, and the soldiers camping outside want to move out because of the fear of getting attacked again by the tank. However, the regimental commander from the base does not want them to move out because the document might arrive any time. The commander follows the order and commands his troops to find the tank instead. Young Wang continues his journey back home until he sees a man covered with a Chinese flag. He gets off his tank and tells the man that they are comrades and on the same side. However, the man is not a Chinese soldier, but it was Nam-bok. Young Wang is now held captive by Nam-bok inside his tank. Nam-bok tells Young Wang that he should give him the top-secret document and threatens him that he will shoot him if he doesn't tell where the document is. However, Young Wang fiercely tells him that if he shoots him, he will never find the document he is looking for. Nam Bok then bargains with Young Wang, telling him that he will never kill him and he only wants the document. Young Wang then lies to Nam Bok that he lost the document, though it is attached at the back of a framed picture that Nam Bok is using as a fan. This made Nam Bok look at him and the picture suspiciously. Nonetheless, Nam Bok still does not realize that document is attached at the back of the picture. Nam Bok orders Young Wang to drive the tank back to the South Korean camp. He then settles that he will just bring the tank back and let the other soldiers torture Young Wang to find out where the document is. Young Wang tries to talk to Nam Bok. He tells him that North Korea only came to the South to free them from the Americans. However, Nam Bok gets mad at him and angrily tells him he does not need to be liberated. He also frustratingly says that he did not see his baby's face because of the war. The two continue their journey and finally reach a small village. The people there are South Koreans, so they feed and praises Nam Bok for taking down a North Korean tank. Meanwhile, Young Wang is tied up in the corner. Suddenly, the woman who served Nam Bok food tells him that she is going to deliver a baby, so she must leave him in the meantime. As the people scrambled, one of the elders in the place tells Nam Bok that his son died from the war and never got to see his baby's face. This makes Nam Bok sympathize with the old man since he also experienced the same thing. As the village cheers for the birth of a baby boy, Nam Bok feels sad, and it makes him remember how he never got to see his child because he was forced to enlist in the war. The night finally comes, and our duo continues their journey. Nam Bok tells Young Wang to hand over the document to him and surrender. He also feeds him with food and advises him to eat whatever his older brother gives him. This makes Young Wang mad and angrily tells him that he is not his brother. He also tells Nam Bok that all his 6 brothers died because of the war, and he is the only son alive, so he will not surrender. Nam Bok felt touched by Young Wang's story, so he tells him that he should give him the document and go back home to his mother. While telling this, Young Wang sneakily gets out of being tied up and launches at Nam Bok. The two fight each other until they notice that they have disturbed a beehive. Nam Bok and Young Wang are both stung by the bees. The bees also come after them, so they go inside the tank and stay there together. In the morning, Young Wang gets the upper hand and made Nam Bok drive the tank back to the north. Young Wang also threatens Nam Bok that he will shoot him if he does something funny. As they sit close to each other, Nam Bok tells Young Wang about his baby and begs him to let him live. However, Young Wang tells him to shut up and drive. After this, Nam Bok drove the tank so fast that it made Young Wang lose his balance. Nam Bok takes this opportunity to fight Young Wang. He successfully grabs the pistol while Young Wang picks up the shotgun. Then, both soldiers shoot each other. After realizing what they did, Nam Bok and Young Wang decided to have a truce in the meantime. During their agreement, Nam Bok and Young Wang tend their wounds and drink alcohol while asking personal questions to each other. The two of them got closer as they spent the night together. Despite their fight earlier, the two soldiers formed an unlikely brotherhood during their temporary truce. The morning finally arrives, and the Chinese soldiers find our favorite duo with their tank. The situation puts Young Wang in an advantageous light but puts Nam Bok in danger. The Chinese soldiers wanted to take a ride with their tank, but Young Wang decided not to let them ride in the tank to hide Nam Bok. As Nam Bok and Young Wang continue to run away from the Chinese soldiers, the South Korean troops who were looking for their tank spots them. Nam Bok and Young Wang continue their journey. As they drive away, Nam Bok asks Young Wang to give him the document, and he will let him go back to North Korea with his tank. As they talk, the tank suddenly gets bombed by an American jet fighter. Nam Bok tries to save them both by stepping out of the tank and showing off the South Korean flag, signaling the jet fighter that they are on the same side. However, the jet continues to shoot at them, thus making Nam Bok fly out of the tank. Meanwhile, Young Wang continues to fight against the jet fighter. Using the machine gun, he shoots the jet fighter, causing it to land on the ground. As a result, Young Wang chases the jet fighter using his tank. The situation makes Nam Bok run after them because he wants to stop Young Wang from going in the direction of the broken bridge. Nam Bok thinks that Young Wang will die since his tank will fall from the broken bridge. Luckily, Young Wang is able to step onto the brakes and prevent his tank from falling. Young Wang finally steps out of his tank and sees that it is about to fall off. He asks Nam Bok to help him pull it up, but Nam Bok tells him that it is impossible. Nam Bok leaves the struggling Young Wang from holding onto the tank, thus making Young Wang angry. However, Nam Bok comes back to him with the people from the village they stayed in earlier. Together, they help Young Wang pull up his tank. After what happened, Nam Bok asks Young Wang again to give him the document. This time, Young Wang finally gives in because he is thankful to Nam Bok for helping him save his beloved tank. On the other hand, the South Korean troops who were looking for the tank see them again. To make it worse, they also inform the headquarters that they finally see the tank they are looking for. Going back to the duo, Nam Bok and Young Wang finally say goodbye to each other. Young Wang tells Nam Bok that he should name his child Young Wang. Nam Bok agrees with Young Wang and gives him a pendant and a cigarette as a token. Both look happy as they smoke the cigarettes together. They have no idea that the South Korean soldiers who are looking for their tank are going to bomb it. Nam Bok is now walking away from Young Wang with the document in his hand. Young Wang suddenly calls him and asks what his name is. Nam Bok tells him that he is Jang Nam Bok. In return, Young Wang tells him that his name is Kim Young Wang and he should remember him. As our duo bid their heartfelt goodbye to each other, the South Korean troops finally bombs the tank. This made Nam Bok go back to Young Wang and help him get out of the place. However, his action seems futile since the South Korean troops continue to bomb them. Nam Bok tries to save Young Wang by dragging him away from his tank. However, when the bomb hits the tank, Young Wang runs towards it, thus hitting him in the process. Nam Bok goes to the dying Young Wang and holds him. Young Wang tells him that it is getting cold, and it feels like he is going to die. Nam Bok denies this and tells him that it is cold because it is snowing. However, the snow is just the debris from the bombing. Young Wang tells Nam Bok that the snowfall is beautiful, and with that, he takes his last breath. Nam Bok cries at the death of his friend, but he still picks up his body, cleans it, and sends it back to the north through a cow. After sending off Young Wang's body, Nam Bok finally walks home with the secret document. As he walks on the long deserted road, he remembers his wife and his child waiting for him to come home. It makes Nam Bok smile emptily at the long road in front of him. The end. Older men declare war, but it is the youth that must fight and die. Friendship can still blossom despite our differences and circumstances. The encounter between the Nam Bok and Young Wang proves this. What do you think about their story? Let us know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you for watching, and as always, see you next time.